Okay, good morning everyone. So yesterday we were discussing about testing definition. I'm sorry, testing introduction, about like a little bit brief history about testing. Then we went for like career opportunities. So today we'll see like testing definition. So testing definition we are discussing means it will get cover more than 15 topics and even more than 15 interview questions. So these are nothing but different topics gets covered. Then as soon as we hear like testing, we get into our mind like we are aware of, right? So what do you mean by testing? Can anybody say? Means verifying. Let us assume you are trying to purchase a mobile phone. Which are the different things you look for? So primary requirement is like whether it is good brand or not, good model or not, whether it's having all the features or not, cost, life, warranty, like that. So many things you will look. That means what you are doing here, you are trying to test like whether it meets your requirements or not. So that is nothing but like testing. Very simply you have to define means it's not only applicable for our IT industry, applicable even in our real world, real life, at every perspective, at every situation it will come across. Okay, so that is nothing but like testing. So simply how you can define it as like verifying the application whether it meets your customer requirements or not. So that is nothing but like testing. In another words, also how you can define it as like executing the program with the intent of finding the errors. Okay, so normally program who will develop? Developers will develop. They will develop and send it to you for testing. You will be testing that program, you will be re-executing that program again with the intent of like finding the error. So that is nothing but like testing. Very simply, testing you have to define means these simple words you can use. But really, how you can define it are like these are the definitions you see like in Google or some material. But this is not the real definition for testing. So how you can define it are like verification plus validation. Also you can consider it as like quality assurance, quality control. So verification, quality assurance, both are nothing but like synonyms. Validation, quality control, both are nothing but synonyms. So verification is nothing but like prevent, validation is nothing but detect. So before going in detail about like prevent and detect, we try to understand like what is quality, what do you mean by quality. So while discussing like testing means verifying the application whether it's meeting customer requirements or not. That means like whether it is quality application or not. That is what you are trying to find out. You have to certify it as a quality application means how you will certify, what do you mean by quality. So you should be aware of what is quality, right? So we are into IT industry, so that's the reason we try to understand what is software quality. So first and primary point is like to meet customer requirements. What exactly is requirement? What are the application you are developing? That application should meet their requirements. Laptop you are purchasing, what is your requirement? You should match your requirement, right? End user requirements. So that is nothing but like customer requirements. Okay, your requirement is like making car, making phone, or browse. Let us suppose you have taken some internet connection. So as soon as you enter gmail.com, it's taking 1 or 2 minutes for launching your login screen. Here you are able to meet your requirement, but you are getting irritating, right? So it's very slow. If that is the case, it's really you may not satisfy with the service. So that means in order to meet your requirement, Additionally, you may have some expectations in using that product. What are those expectations? So those expectations are nothing but like usability, performance, and security. So whatever the application it is like, that application should provide user friendly interface. It's like it is user friendly, and that is what you have to validate. Best example, uh, ATMs. Only educated people use? No, right? So uneducated people also try using ATMs. So they have to use their ATM services means they may not be good in program or English or communication, something like that. So they may not understand, right? So that's why most of the ATMs they will come up with like making noise. Each and every action, whatever, each and every key, whatever you are pressing, it will give you sound. Do something, perform this action, something like that. They will make you noise. That is one way. Another way is like most of the ATM centers, if you go for, they may come up with so many languages. If you take major cities, in that city, which are the regions of people living, those languages they will come up with for that ATM. Why? This is only because of like usability. Another best example, if you take touch screen. So uneducated people cannot use touchscreen mobile phones, right? So for them, the best option is like user interface or keyboard or keywords, keyboard, whatever they have, your mobile phone. They only they go for. Why? That is because of only usability. So that is nothing but like any other application they have to get success in the market. That application should come up with user friendly interface. Okay, so that is nothing but like usability. And another important portion is like performance also plays major role. And these days most of the transactions we are performing in online only, like making transfers or something like that, money transactions. Okay, if it is not secure, will you go and dare making transactions in online? Not, right? So even whatever the application like Gmail, Yahoo Mail, you'll come up with like creating account using like passwords. Why? Only because of security. So whatever the application it is, this is primary thing they have to consider, like should provide security. Otherwise people cannot go for using that application. So in order to meet your requirement, additionally you will accept few stuff. So that is nothing but like usability, performance, and security. So what are the application you are working, that application whether providing all these features or not, that is what you try to look for. And then this world is surviving under 80-20 principle. What do you mean by 80-20? Any idea? 80% is like poor people, 20% is rich people. So 20% rich people driving, 80% of the poor people. Okay. So during starting days of your mobile communications or telecommunications, mobile phones and even calls are very costly. In India, with respect to if you talk about, so even incoming also they used to charge too much like five rupees or 10 rupees. Okay, but these days, how tremendously rates got decreased within 5 or 6 years time span. If you think about it, like the rates got tremendously decreased, right? So you want to get mobile phone older days, like during starting days of telecommunications, means you have to spend 50,000 or something like that. These days, 500 Indian rupees if you put, you'll get color mobile set. Why? Whenever rates are costly, only 20% of the people able to utilize those services. Rates got decreased 20% plus 80% of the people also try using. That means like here 20 plus 80 rupees they are getting. That is the advantage of like that means any of the product they have to get success in the market means they have to concentrate poor people. That means like 80%, not 20%. That is the reason these days rates got tremendously decreased. Each and every person is having like 2 or 3 mobile phones and even 2 or 3 SIM cards. Only because of this is the reason. So they have to grow their business means any of the business it is like they have to concentrate 80%, not 20%. And another thing is like during recession time, any of the new product or how best it is like people struggle too much with their financial issues, so the people don't prefer to go for enjoying, right? So if that is the situation, a new product is releasing into the market, so it will definitely get loss, it will definitely get fail that product. So time also plays major role. So right time they have to release it to the market. So whatever the application it is, if that application meeting these 4 points, remember another important thing. This stuff not only applicable for software, only for IT companies. It doesn't mean like that. It's applicable for all industries. You may use marker, right, for whiteboard or something like that. Even that marker, if you see somewhere QC passed, soap, marker, laptop, whatever the stuff it is like, before releasing it to the market, they will definitely test that product, then only release it to the market. Before testing, nothing come into the market. Okay, so it's applicable for all the industries. So that is nothing but like quality. So as a tester, what you do is like what are the application you are working, whether that application meeting these 4 points or not, that is what you try to test. So that is nothing but like software quality. Okay, so now we go for like again testing. With the help of testing, what you are doing is like whether your application is the qualifying these 4 points or not, meeting these 4 points, like meeting customer requirements, customer expectations within budget and cost and time also. So are these points is meeting or not, that is what you try to validate. So that is nothing but like your testing. Okay, so very simply you have to define this, that is nothing but like testing. But in another words, also how you can define it as verification plus validation. So verification is nothing but prevent, validation is nothing but detect. What is the difference between like prevent and detect? So how you can define it as like uh, before getting the health problem, you will be taking frequent health checkups and keep maintaining our body healthier. That is nothing but like prevent. Okay, like cancer, something like that. Once you get cancer, you cannot do anything, there is no prevent, right? There is no cure. So before getting cancer you have to take it, so like that prevent. So once your health get affected, you consult doctor, whatever suggestions he is giving you'll be following. That is nothing but like detect. But with respect to IT industry, if you think about it, like how exactly it works, before discussing that one, what do you mean by testing? Whatever the code developer is developing, within that code you're trying to find out problems, errors. If you talk prevent and detect with respect to testing, so before occurring the error you're taking precautions, right? Before producing the error you're taking precautions, so that is nothing but like prevent. Detect means error already occurred, so at that point of time, so you are finding out and resolving, so that is nothing but like detect. So that is nothing but like verification, means before occurring the error you are taking precautions, so that is nothing but like verification. Also you can consider it as like quality assurance. So how exactly it happens? That is what you have to understand, means what you have to do is like you should be aware of like software development life cycle. So what is verification? Is nothing but prevent. So means before producing the error you are taking precautions. How exactly it happens? How is really possible? That is what you have to understand, means you should be aware of like software development life cycle. So before going in detail software development life cycle, what do you mean by life cycle? In our real world, each and every life should be having some life cycle. Like human beings, if we take teenage, childish, middle age, and old age, exactly like that, whatever the life it is, every life should be having some life cycle. Exactly, in our IT industry also, we have to develop any of the project, any of the application. Means you should follow some life cycle. That is nothing but like software development life cycle. So that is nothing but like different phases you will come across in your software development life cycle. Those are nothing but analysis, design, development, testing, release, and maintenance. These are the five different phases you will come across. So that is nothing but like your software development life cycle. So what exactly each and every phase? That is what we'll go for. Analysis. Normally in analysis phase, who will involve is like business analyst. Okay, so in India means you are working or you are very seriously working means immediately somebody will call you, some bank or some insurance who will provide this much insurance or this much insurance, like that they will be disturbing you, right? So what do you call them? Actually business executives or business representatives. Exactly like that, each and every software company should be having, should be maintaining some business analysts. But these people's job is like how to roam across multiple clients, how to tell greatly about the company and attract the clients. That is what this business analyst role. So while roaming, let us suppose some client shown interest in giving up their project to us. So what these business analyst does is like these people gather all the client requirements. What exactly he is looking for? What exactly their requirements? All those requirements, these people gather and make it as one document. That document you will consider it as like business requirement specification. Okay, so any of the clients shown interest in giving their project, so this business analyst what they does is like these people gather all of his requirements, and those requirements he will come up in the form of document. That document we are calling it as like business requirement specification. Why you are calling it a business requirement specification? If you think like that, some client running his business, for his business requirement he needs some software. But for us, for companies, if you think like for us what is the business? Develop project and give it to client, right? That means like this is a business meeting point for both of the parties, like client as well as company. That is the reason we are calling it as like business requirement specification. Okay, so that's the reason we are calling it like business requirement specification. So business analysts gather requirements from client and come up with one document. That document you are calling it like BRS. Also you can consider it like customer requirement specification. Also you can consider it like user requirement specification. Okay, so you may be aware of like a domain. What do you mean by domain? Means specific field, specific industry. Like examples, if you take like healthcare, insurance, finance, securities, mortgage, like the so many domains you'll come up with. Insurance is one domain, healthcare is another domain. Okay, mortgage like banking, loans, something like that. Banking is another domain. Okay, so healthcare, if you take doctors, they will use their own terminology, right? Until and unless we'll get trained, we may not be aware of, right? Their domain, their terminology. Exactly like that. So BRS and SRS, how it will contain. Okay, clients, so they doesn't know really how we develop our software applications. Okay, so that's why they will give their own terminology, but we may not understand their terminology, right? So business analysts, what they do is like they'll gather exactly what exactly is requirements and make it as like BRS. Means BRS contains client's terminology. So we may not understand their terminology. So that's why these business analysts, what they do once they gather BRS is like they go through those documents or their requirements properly, understand and come up with another document. Like how exactly you have to come up with their requirement as a system, as a software. Okay, so their requirements they will convert it into like one system. How IT terminology simply I have to say means software terminology. How exactly you are going to develop the document as a software like that. Another document they will come up with. So that is nothing but like SRS. Excuse me. Software requirement specification means their requirements how you exactly are going to develop as a software. So that is nothing but like SRS. That means also you can consider like functional requirement specification. Okay, so business analysts have to play this role, means they should be aware of like both the terminology like client's terminology as well as our IT terminology, and even they should be aware of like how we develop our software systems. Then only they come up with they play this role, otherwise they cannot play, right? So this is nothing but like your analysis phase. So in analysis phase, business analyst gets involved and they come up with two types of document by gathering requirements from client. Those are nothing but like BRS and SRS. So here in this phase, business analyst gathering information from client. That is the reason analysis phase also you can consider it as like info gathering phase. Okay, so analysis phase also you can consider like info gathering phase. This is nothing but analysis. Any questions anybody? So no questions means we go for then design. Okay, so then we go for design. So during design phase, who will involve is like architects gets involved. You are planning to construct one apartment, let us assume. Whom you will consult? Civil engineers, right? In our real life also you can consider like architects. Exactly, even in your IT industry, in order to develop any of the application or system, okay, so once you gather requirements, those requirements how exactly you have to develop system. So before going implementation phase, architects gets involved and come up with like entire design of that application. That is nothing but like design. How they come up is like in the form of two ways: high level design and low level design. Okay, so high level design means like one apartment if you take, how many levels you have to come up with, and each and every level how many houses you have to keep, how many floors, and each and every floor how many houses. That is nothing but like high level design. Then each and every independent house if you take, how exactly you have to come up with design of that independent house. That is nothing but low level design. So in India, so many people construct houses according to Vastu component, right? So exactly like that, where you have to put entrance, where you have to put kitchen, where you have to put bedroom, like windows, something like everything. You have to follow some rules and regulations. So that is nothing but like architecture. Okay, that is nothing but like low level design for that independent house. Like that, even in your IT industry also, people come up with two types of design. Those are nothing but like high level design and low level design. Gmail if you take, how exactly you come up with high level design? Like login, compose mail, inbox, outbox, sent mail, drafts, trash, logout. All these are nothing but like high level design. Okay, then what exactly the low level design? each and every independent component if you take. So login, how exactly you have to come up with login? So username, password, sign in. How exactly compose mail looks like? To CC, BCC, subject, then body, send, save, something like that. Is nothing but compose mail, right? Exactly like that. Whatever the application if you take. So for that entire application, architects what they do is like they gather SRS document from business analysts, go through this document, understand clearly, and come up with these two types of architectural documents. Those are nothing but like high level design and low level design. Along with these designs, they will come up with like high level flow of that entire application. Like Gmail, if you take login, then compose mail, you'll send out an email, then you'll check your inbox, then finally you'll log out. Another thing is like for you in login screen, you will enter username, password, click on sign in button, then you will be able to see home page. Just click on sign in button, seeing home page for you. But as soon as you click on sign in button, back in how exactly your system handles, it will connect to database server, it will connect to web server, send back acknowledgement back, and whatever the username you entered, that username is available in database or not. If that username is available, correct password you are entered or not, whether both of them matches properly or not. This can just I have told around 10 events like that. Thousands of events may occur in between once you click on sign in button and navigating to home page. All this flow also the designers come up with complete architecture of that application means all this flow also they will come up with. Okay, so that is what this architect's job. Okay, so as a tester, all those one you don't want to really aware of, but if this is what you are aware of like high level design and low level design, that is more than enough. Okay, so during design, architects gets involved and come up with two types of documents. Those are nothing but like high level design and low level design. Okay, so then uh, real implementation portion comes up with like development. Okay, so for that application, what is the programming language they are using, what is the development platform they are using, like Java or .NET or Civil. Who is good in that programming language, they will involve and start real implementation. So that is nothing but like development. So who will involve? Developers gets involved in development phase. Okay, so one apartment if you take, whole that apartment, is it really possible to construct at a time? Really not possible, right? So they will follow some structure, some process. How they follow? First, they will come up with base. They start constructing from some corner and slowly enhancing. Exactly, even in your IT industry, any other application or product or project, they have to develop means they should follow some process, some structure exactly like that. It's really not possible to develop whole Gmail application at a time. Okay, step by step approach they have to follow. So what they do is like entire that application, they will divide it into modules first, like module 1, module 2, module 3, module 4, like some modules they will divide, main modules. Okay, so again these modules they will divide into sub modules, sub module 1, sub module 2, sub modules again they divide it into sub modules, sub modules, sub modules, like that. So many levels they will divide, and smallest independent component they will take, they will come up with code first for that component and slowly enhancing. Right, so Gmail if you take, first login component they will take, For login, they come up with code. Then once they finish coding for login, they will integrate with registration. Then they will integrate with forgot password. Then they will enhance with composement. Then coming up with inbox. Like that, slowly they will be enhancing the application. Step by step process they will be coming up with. Okay, so that is how they will implement any of the application it is. Okay, so first we go for application means they are dividing into modules into submodules like that. So smallest independent component they will take, that independent component they will take up and implement, then slowly enhancing the application. So let us assume like for developing Gmail application it will take 3 years. These 3 years of time company have recruited testers also, right? So let us assume they want to develop entire application and send it to testing team after 3 years. But these 3 years of time what testing team will be doing? Company cannot sit these people idle and pay the salaries, right? So in middle these people also should be having some work. So to handle this kind of situation, instead of developing whole application and send it to testing for testing team, what they do is like as soon as they develop some code, they implement some features. Okay, that code they send it to testing for testing purpose. Okay, so that means like some features, let us take Gmail application, what they do is like login, forgot password, registration. These features they will develop and send it to testing team for testing purpose. Okay, exactly like that. Then composable they will integrate and send it to testing team for testing purpose. Then they will enhance with inbox and send it to testing team for testing purpose. That's how within your company people try to follow. So in order to work with, or in order to play game in your computer, what they have to do, what you have to do first, you have to get setup file install, then only you'll be able to play that game. Exactly like that, even in your IT industry, as soon as they come up with code for specific features, they will make it as a setup file. That setup file they send it to installation team installs whole application. Then you'll start up with your testing activities. This is what we will call it as like internal release. The idea is very simple. Instead of developing whole application and sending it to testing team for testing purpose, some features, some portion of the application they will develop and send it to testing team for testing purpose. Okay, so that is nothing but like this some portion you are calling it a like internal release. Then what is external release? Like Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows NT. What do you call all this one? Versions, different versions. Also you can consider it like external versions. So Windows 8 they have to develop. Internally, Microsoft could have taken so many years, like 5 years or 10 years. But instead of developing whole application and sending it to testing team, what they do? Some features they will develop internally and send it to testing team for testing purpose. That one you are considering it as like internal release. Also you can consider it like build. Also you can consider it like drop. Okay, so there are internally not most of the projects, almost all the projects they try to follow two types of releases. These are internal releases. So those are nothing but like major release and minor release. As soon as business analysts gather requirements, so what they do is like development team and architects, all people sit together and come up with release plan. Like how much big is this application? How much time is required for completing entire application? So how many releases we have to come up with? Okay, means like this is what you get to know later, very detailed. As of now, as much as possible you try to understand. So I'm trying to tell you like So before starting up the project development team, how much big is your application, how many releases they have to come up with. Like release 100, the names for release how they will give it as like very usual. Okay, so release 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, or Augusta 100, Augusta 1, Augusta 2, Augusta 3, Augusta 4. Okay, spectrum 1, spectrum 2, spectrum 3, something like that. Very usual names they will give it. Okay, so uh let us suppose like release 100. I mostly use like release 100, 200, 300 for my convenience purpose, but people really may use in your real time, that is the one. Or they may give like their own names like spectrum 100, spectrum 200, something like that. Okay, so release 100, they will develop login and forget password. Release 200, they will integrate with registration. Release 300, compose mail. Release 400, inbox. Release 500, outbox. Something like that. They will develop, and accordingly, they will come up with code for that release and sending it to testing team for testing purpose. Okay, so that's how it's happened. So again, there are two types of releases. They are calling it like major release and minor release. Minor release means whatever I'm talking about, like release 100, 200, 300, 400. So major release means for every 3 months or 4 months, what are the features you are developed during that time span, all those features they will integrate and make it as a one major release, one big release. That one you will call it a like major release. And remember, another important thing, minor release I'm talking about like 1 month, major release 3 months. But this time duration may not be same for every project, every client, every company. That is important. Should be there major release and minor release, but time durations may get vary from project to project. That is one important thing you have to remember. Okay, so another important thing you will come across here, like how you will get intimation of build, how you start up with testing your activities, or how you get to know like they were made it as a new release. So that is what. So as soon as developers complete their code for specific release, they will make it as a setup file, send it to, for any most of the projects people use it to maintain like separate installation team, separate deployment team. Deployment team also you will consider it as also like installation team. So what they do is like whenever developers ready with their latest code, they make it as a setup file, send it to deployment team. The deployment team, what they do is like they will install and send back email like development team as well as testing team. Installation was successful. You carry on with your testing activities. Then testing team start up with their testing activities. Okay, so this is how you will get intimation of build. Okay, so developers, as soon as they get ready with their code, send it to installation team for installing, and then testing team start up with their testing activities. Another important thing here you have to remember, like most of the project they maintain development team, deployment team and testing team, but some projects they may not keep separate installation team, okay, separate deployment team. So at that time you yourself may install and test, but these three phases should be there. Okay, three phases like development, installation and testing, but teams make it vary. Sometimes what will happen is like development team themselves install the latest code and send out an email, latest build is ready, you start up with your testing activities. So at the time you'll start up with your testing activities. Okay, so it depends on the process you are following. Okay, this is how you will get with like intimation of your build. Then you start up with your testing activities. Okay, so like this, before starting up the project, they will come up with a release plan. Accordingly, they will be developing, and as soon as latest code available, send it to testing team for testing purpose. Then what testing team does is like testers. Okay. Here another important thing you will come across like environments. Any of the project, any of the productivity, people may maintain different environments. Okay, so as soon as you get mail from development team or installation team, how you start up with your testing activities, how regularly you start up means like some URL where they were installed, that link also they should pass, right? Like gmail.com means that is the link, right? That is that is a production environment. Like that, where exactly they were installed, the path also they should include in that email. Okay, so another important thing is like most of the project how they maintain their environments is these are the kind of environments. And during starting days of your IT industry or internet, okay, and before that each and every computer you may be aware of like having some IP address. So initially people used to connect computers with the help of IP address like this, some IP address, some folder, .html. But for so many applications you have to remember this IP address means it's very difficult, right? That's the reason later they come up with domain kind of stuff like gmail.com, yahoomail.com, gdiff.com, something like that. Okay, but internally even these days people used to maintain environments. This is the manual. Okay, so development environment, some IP address, some folder. IP address is nothing but like computer, right? Instead of IP address you may use computer name directly. Each and every computer should be having some name, even that computer name directly you can use. Then folder dev.html. So development team will be working on that location. Production, this is live environment like gmail.com. Testing, if we take again different teams are there, right? Like manual testing, automation testing, performance testing. They may maintain like manual testing.html, automation testing.html. Performance team will be working on performance environment. So whenever latest code is ready by development team, deployment team try installing in all these different environments and send out an email. Installation was ready, start up with your testing activities. Then if you will be into manual testing, you go manual testing environment and starting with your testing activities. If you will be into automation testing, you will go automation testing environment and start up with your testing activities. Okay, so this is nothing but like your environments people used to maintain in your company environment. And remember, these environments may not be same for each and every project. So some companies they may use 3 environments, some companies they may maintain 10 environments. It may vary from project to project. That is what you have to remember. Okay, so development plan like this will come up with later, you'll get to know very clearly. So once development team make a release, you will go through that bold that code. On one side you'll be putting application, whatever the code you got from development team. Another side you will be putting like client requirement, so whether that code is matching client requirements or not, you will be testing. In case if you find any mismatches, you'll be sending them back to development team for resolving, for fixing those bugs, some defect, those issues. Okay, so developers again make code changes, what are the issues you are reported, send back another release, then you'll again testing. So these two cycles in between development and testing will be happening until whole application gets ready. Okay, so that is nothing but like development and testing. So once that means like you are at the ending days of 3 years, by that time most of your application gets ready, right? Then what you do, you have to release it to customer. That is what your last stage, right? So once all of your application gets ready, then you will be releasing it to the customer. Before releasing it to the customer, again you will be performing release phase testing. Also, you can consider it like user acceptance testing. End user acceptance testing. You will be doing in two ways, like alpha testing and beta testing. Excuse me. Alpha testing means once whole application gets ready in your company environment, you will be setting up like exactly client. That means like exactly which kind of environment client is going to use that application. That kind of environment you'll be setting up in company and testing. So that is nothing but like alpha testing. Okay. Once whole application gets ready, before releasing it to the customer in company environment, you will install whole application and test. That is nothing but like alpha testing. Once alpha testing is done and works everything fine, then you go to client environment. That means like exactly which kind of environment is going to use. There you will install and configure and test. That is nothing but like beta testing. Okay. Normally beta testing, we people don't go install and test. Company maintain separate team for that one. Company will maintain separate team for installing and configuration, that kind of test. Okay. So but the idea here is like once whole application gets ready, you go to client environment, there you install whole application and test. That is nothing but like beta testing. Normally beta testing means like this will depend, but sometimes you may hear like Yahoo Messenger beta release or Google Chrome beta release. What do you mean by beta release? What do you mean by that? Exactly means your application is ready to use. But see, and another thing is like every business based on customer base, end user base. So every client, every company try come up with their level best. But sometimes what will happen is like they may not think all perspectives of end user. In another words, also how I can say is like once their application goes to public, which kind of issues they may face from public, client may not expect, right? So that is nothing but like beta testing. So whole application is ready to use, but once their application goes to public, which kind of issues they may face, they cannot estimate, right? So that is the reason. So they'll release it, they will make it as a version release. The application is ready to use, but getting feedback from public, what they do is like they'll make it as a beta release, so they'll get feedback from public, they'll rectify all those issues and make it as a original release. So that is nothing but like real meaning of beta test. Even if you remember like in India, mobile portability they come up very recently. That one they were not implemented whole India at a time. What they done, one location especially they were implemented, then they got feedback from public, they were implemented all those issues, then they were made it as a version release and implemented across India. Why? This is the main reason. So that is what meant by like beta release. Exactly. Even now, whatever product you are working, beta release means you'll release to the market. You'll they will make it as like beta release. Directly they will call it as beta release means they're getting feedback from public. Okay, that is nothing but like beta testing. So beta testing also done means your portion done. You released it to the customer. After that, you are purchase your laptop with the operating system. That means in future you never go back to Microsoft, or you may not come in a situation, this kind of situation like don't want to go for Microsoft. It doesn't mean like that. That means like see you are purchase your computer and even operating system you are installed. So after that, virus may get impact. So your operating system may get corrupt. At the time, whom you will consult? Microsoft only you have to consult, right? These kind of things may happen. Exactly like that. Once you develop, it doesn't mean like that relation in between customer and the client going to end. It will be like lifelong how many days you are purchasing one mobile phone. 1 or 2 years warranty you will get at that time. So within 1 year or 2 years, if you face any of the issues with your laptop or your mobile, they will make you with free of service. After 2 years, they'll charge something. Exactly like that for projects also, companies and clients they will try to maintain like that. So and another important thing here is like how many days you are using this mobile phone lifelong. So you're facing some of the issues, you'll definitely go back to company, what are the company you purchased. Exactly like that. This IT industry projects also works like that. Okay, so that is nothing but like maintenance. And during real development, 100 developers and 30 testers company was using letters also. But for maintenance, 3 or 4 developers, 1 or 2 testers company try to maintain. Whenever they're facing any of the issues from client, these developers work on those issues, testers will try to test. Or it's not like issues only. They may come up with some enhancements and some change requests. Even at that time, who are the developers available like 3 or 4, they'll be working on those changes and 1 or 2 testers they'll be testing. So like that, that is nothing but like maintenance you'll consider it as. Okay? So this is nothing but like your software development life cycle. So 5 phases you will come across. So why we have learned this one? Okay. Before that, application, project, product. Sometimes if you remember, I'm saying like application. Sometimes if you observe like project and even product also I'm saying. Is there any difference between these three? Yes, really. So, whatever you see in your IT industry, in your computers, everything you will consider it as like application. Applications are of two types, like project and product. Project means client specific, like Verizon or Vodafone. Some client is there, he will come up with his requirements. According to his requirements, you will develop and give it back to them. That is nothing but like project. Only for specific client, like bank, some Bank of America. He will come up with his requirements. According to his requirements, you will develop and give it back to him. That is nothing but project. But what do you mean by product? To meet market requirements, companies will be coming up with solutions like mobile phone. That is market requirement, right? Computers, market requirement. Okay, so computer you are purchasing. Without operating system, you cannot do anything. So once you purchase a computer, operating system also you should purchase. So operating system also market requirement. You have some movie, you have to watch that movie. Movie player required. So movie player also market requirement. Okay, like the C, C++, Java, Microsoft Office. Simply I have to say means like product is nothing but like market requirement. To meet market requirements, companies will be coming up with solutions. That is nothing but like product. So this is the difference between like application, project, product. Okay. So coming to the point, this is nothing but like your software development lifecycle. But why we were discussing? So in order to understand testing, testing how you can define it as like verification plus validation. Also you can define it as like quality assurance plus quality control. Means prevent and detect. Prevent means before producing the error, you'll be taking precautions. How exactly? This is what we have to understand. That's the reason we come up with this software development lifecycle. Okay. So one application is there, let us assume there are 4 modules. A, B, C, D. Analysis done, let us assume. Design also done. They were developed entire application, send it to you for testing. As soon as you get application, what is your responsibility as a tester? You have to test that application according to customer requirements. If there are any mismatches, you have to report as issues to development team. So once you get application, you started testing. During testing, you found, let us assume, C module got missed out. Let us assume so C module got missed out. And another important thing, some of the issues you are facing in your application, primarily blame to whom it will go for? Development team, right? So you'll report that issue to development team. And another important thing here is like C module itself you are missing means it's major, right? It's very critical, right? So you reported it to development team. Okay, so that means like primary blame going to development team again. But development team, by referring which documents they're coming up with their development activities. Another thing, remember, during performing whatever the team member you are, if you are facing any confusion or you want to understand the application or you want to refer some document means any other team member you can refer SRS document is the base document. At any point of time you can refer any team member, any project member. Along with SRS, you may refer additional documents like architectural documents or BRS or use cases. Like so many documents, process related, standards related, so many documents you may come across. Exactly like that, development team also they will refer as SRS as primary document. Along with that one, architectural documents like high level design and low level design document also they refer for coming up with their code. Actually what happened here is like whatever the architectural documents they received, there itself C module is not there. So what does it mean? Then that is not their mistake. So the blame went to architects. But again, architects, which documents they will refer? SRS document, right? So SRS document, they have to, SRS document who will come up with? Business analyst. So business analyst, they have to come up with SRS document means again which document they will refer? BRS. So actually what happened is like by chance somehow during BRS document itself that C module got missed. Now C module is missed means one module itself is critical, complex. So what you have to do? Again you have to come up with BRS, again you have to come up with SRS, again you have to come up with architectural documents, again you have to implement code. That means like for analysis how much time it will take? It depends on the complexity of the application. So it may take 6 months to 1 year. For design, same 6 months to 1 year. Development again 2 to 3 years. So that means like so far you were used 3 to 4 years. These 3 to 4 years of time you could have utilized so many resources like electricity, power, infrastructure, salaries to so many employees. Everything going to waste. Again you have to come up with analysis. Again you have to come up with design. Again you have to come up with development. That means like again you are going to spend 2 3 years. Does anybody motivate or suggest appreciate this kind of approach? No, right? So instead of this one, what we could have done? As soon as BRS document gets ready, there itself we could have tested. Okay, so if something went wrong, there itself we were rectified, right? Again, as soon as SRS document gets ready, there itself if we were tested, something went wrong, immediately we'll correct. Exactly like that. As soon as architectural documents gets ready, there itself if we test, if something went wrong, we'll immediately rectify. That's how we are trying to prevent producing the error. Okay, so that means like uh this is the thing like waterfall model and V model you will come up with. So in waterfall model, what is the thing is like testing will be happening only in testing phase. In later sessions, I'll be explaining you in detail like how waterfall model, how works V model. But as of now, you just aware of like testing will be happening only in testing phase. So what is the drawback of this one? So if something went wrong, you'll be finding out that one in testing phase only. If it is critical issue, again you have to do Z work. This is a major drawback of waterfall model. To overcome this problem, what you can do? Every phase you will test as soon as one specific phase done. If something went wrong, immediately you are correcting. That means like testing will be happening in analysis phase, design phase, development phase. That means every phase. That is nothing but like V model. Waterfall model means testing will be happening only in testing phase, but V model means testing will be happening in every phase. As of now, you remember that is the thing. Okay. As of now, if you remember that is one, that's more than no. Okay. So that's how you're preventing finding out and dropping of bugs to later stages. So here, one important thing you will come across like at which phase finding out bug is costly? Analysis phase or testing phase? Finding out bugs in later phases of your software development lifecycle is costly. Okay, earlier phases finding out bug is cheap. Later phases means it will get cost double, triple, something like that. Okay, so that means like how you can define it like verification now. So finding out preventing dropping of bugs to later stages in your software development lifecycle is nothing but like a verification. Also, you can define it as like finding out bugs in early stages of your software development lifecycle is nothing but verification. Okay, so but validation is like later stages finding out bug or finding out bugs. Other words, also you can define it like whatever the testing process going on before the testing phase in your software development lifecycle is nothing but verification. Whatever the testing process going on once testing phase starts in your software development lifecycle is nothing but validation. Okay, so verification also you can consider like quality assurance. Validation also you can consider like quality control. So as a tester, I have one question here. Will come under like verification or validation? Really, as a tester, we come under validation. Also, you can call it a like quality control. So, you understand this simple example means you will be able to answer more than 15 questions. Okay, what is testing? What is verification? What is validation? What is quality assurance? What is quality control? Here I have one question. I am saying like another important question. At which phase testing really starts? Analysis phase or testing phase? Testing starts at analysis phase itself. Okay, but I am saying here testing starts at analysis phase itself. But really, developers when they implement code and make you the release, that means like application when you get really once developers develop the application, release it to you, then only you'll get application. But here I'm saying testing will be happening at analysis phase itself. So what is get your testing here? How we get your testing? Means here in analysis phase, really you're not testing application. So what you are testing is like documents, BRS, SRS, high level design and low level design. Those documents we are validating whether those documents they come up with properly or not. That means documents as you are validating, you will consider it as like static testing. Okay, analysis phase and design phase, what kind of testing you are performing, that kind of testing you are considering it as like static testing. That means without executing, you're just validating documents. That's the reason you're calling it as like static testing. Okay, then once you get application, you'll be passing test data, you'll be executing the application, you'll be navigating the application and you're testing. That one you'll call it as like dynamic testing. Okay, so verification, quality assurance, static testing, three nothing but synonyms. Validation, quality control, dynamic testing are nothing but synonyms. Okay, so difference between and another thing is like development life cycle, waterfall model, V model also very high level I cover. But again I'll be explaining you like our next session is like waterfall model and V model. So there you'll get a clear understanding of waterfall model and V model. As of now you remember like waterfall model is testing will be happening only in testing phase, but V model Testing will be happening in all the phases of your software development lifecycle. Then differences between like verification and validation, differences between quality assurance and quality control, static testing and dynamic testing, and waterfall model and V model. Along with that, another thing also like software quality assurance. How you can define software quality assurance as like monitoring and measuring in each and every phase of your software development lifecycle. Monitoring and measuring in each and every phase of your software development lifecycle. What does it mean? How exactly each and everything is happening? That is what you are doing, right? That means like verification, right? So software quality assurance also you can define it like verification plus validation. So all these questions you can answer the same example. Okay. Okay, so the thing is like as a tester, we will be involving in validation and quality control. We don't be involving in like quality assurance or verification. Why and how? Our latest sessions I will be explaining you clearly. Okay, as of now you remember. So why we will be involving in, why we'll be considering it like quality control people or validation people. Okay. So this is nothing but like your testing. Okay, so this is nothing but like your testing definition. So more than 15 questions, but if you are going for interview, you'll definitely come across 2 or 3 questions from this portion. Okay, so however they are asking, accordingly you have to explain, so you have to understand clearly, right? That is the reason I come up with this much clear, but you don't want to go for in this much detail, so very high level, very simply you explain in your own words. Okay, so this is nothing but like your testing definition. This is your time. Anybody having any questions? Anybody? If no questions means thank you so much for your time. So tomorrow same time we'll meet. Okay, then okay. See you fine then. Have a good night.